Okay, thanks, Bob and Patty. Welcome, everyone. It's really exciting to be doing these virtual webinars. This is really the future. It's been something that I could see coming from several years ago. There's so many people that need to get this information. There's so many people that have failing health. There's so much misinformation out there and mistreatment, not only in the traditional medical world, what's called the allopathic or the Western medical model, but the natural model, the alternative models as well. There's a lot of unusual treatment going on with health, and what we saw the need for and why we created the New Medicine Foundation was there needs to be a standard for natural health care that's very scientific and very effective. And so several years ago, my wife, Dr. Julie Pearson, and I founded the New Medicine Foundation. We've been on a quest to share the healing and the information and education to as many as possible. So I welcome everyone. I'm very glad to have more and more on the line. I'm very thankful for our local head of the movement, Donna Appel, and she's bringing a lot of great people in and helping a lot of people get healthy. The New Medicine Foundation is really based on three key principles. Number one, that as a species now, we're getting more and more toxic, and that's really the primary problem with our health, is that we are manipulating nature, manipulating our foods, taking more and more medications, becoming more reliant on toxic and synthetic chemicals, and it's making us sick. And that's why there's such epidemics of disease out there. Cancer is truly the epidemic of our time. 1 in 3 men and 1 in 2 women will get cancer. It's no longer a question of if, it's when, and possibly how many times. Heart disease is present in 85% of us. Diabetes, obesity are rampant, autoimmune diseases, and now even childhood diseases. This is all a result primarily of increasing toxicity. So we'll talk a lot about toxins and where they come from and what they do. The second and third problems that occur from this are hormonal imbalance and nutritional imbalance. And so we tackle all of these problems at once. And we'll talk quite a bit about hormones tonight. That's a very exciting topic that a lot of people know that they need hormonal balance, but again, it's being done very improperly by most clinics, both traditional Western medicine doctors and more natural doctors. So we'll talk a lot about how to appropriately test for these hormonal imbalances, the fact that some hormones are in excess in the body and some are these toxins that we're talking about, and a lot of hormones are deficient, and we need to replace the ones that need to be replaced, always with bioidentical compounds, and we need to have good science to prove what hormonal imbalances are there. And of course it all comes down to nutrition and the fact that we're mostly eating fake foods now, and our food industry has become very corrupt and very synthetic, and we need to get back to eating real food and documenting where there are certain deficiencies in our food supply. So we can do all of this with thorough testing, easy testing, relatively inexpensive testing, and we can deliver health and healing to nearly anybody that wants this. We'll talk about some results, we'll show some results, and we'll show how not only do you feel better and healthier and more vibrant very quickly, but much more complicated conditions such as diabetes and lupus and multiple sclerosis, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatigue and depression, and of course weight loss can happen very, very easily. There are many groups out there touting the answers to healthcare, and there's not really any one group that we have found that's doing it all correctly, especially not the traditional medical system. So again, we found it necessary to form this foundation to try to get these answers out to as many people as possible, provide effective solutions. We'll talk a bit about the basis of functional medicine and do it all on the concepts of healthy aging, not anti-aging. It's really doesn't make sense that we can anti-age, and there's a lot of anti-aging treatments going on these days with excessive hormone levels that actually make your body age faster and be under more stress. There's the three methods we talked about: detoxification, hormonal balancing, and functional nutrition, which means scientifically knowing what we need to eat, replacing any deficiencies. When you do all these together, and they really work hand in hand, we'll talk about the different methods that we do this. One has an effect on the others two, on any one of these issues. And when you apply these treatments together, the results are fairly earth-shattering, both physically, symptomatically, And scientifically, the biochemical changes are remarkable. This is in complete contrast, really, to the way we're being treated today and the way we're being told we need to approach our healthcare. The healthcare system in this country is based on emergency medicine or acute care medicine. It's great and can work wonders when we're dying and when we can no longer sustain life. It's based, however, on medications and surgeries and very invasive and toxic procedures that are very powerful but are so toxic and dangerous they should really only be used when it's a life-threatening condition. They are not useful to maintain health. And that is because they don't do any of the things that we do with new medicine. They don't detoxify our body. In fact, they make us more toxic. Every medication we take makes us more toxic and creates more of the imbalances that are already there and that are already the problem. If you're suffering or someone you know is suffering from fatigue or depression or anxiety or one of the growing number of psychological problems that we're all experiencing, most people today don't feel very good mentally. And we're told that it's a chemical imbalance in our brain and that we need more and more drugs to artificially feel well, like Prozac and Abilify and all of the other drugs that are being prescribed. What we find is that there is no imbalance in the brain, and these drugs create one. And they're very addictive, and they're very hard to ever stop taking. They're very high rates of withdrawal and suicidal thoughts that we're now being told. Really the reason for these feelings is these underlying imbalances we're talking about. Toxicities and hormone deficiencies and nutrient deficiencies. And when you find and replace these naturally, you feel better, and you don't need these medications anymore. But when we take medications and no one teaches us about these imbalances, we actually get worse. We are becoming more toxic, more addicted to medications, more nutritionally deficient. And of course, we learn nothing from our traditional doctors today about food, because none of this is being taught. Unfortunately, there's just not much profit behind it. The pharmaceutical industries and the AMA and the FDA are really driving the whole money-making business, and they unfortunately don't seem to really want us to be very healthy, because healthy patients aren't very profitable. So we get patients very healthy, we document these imbalances, and we fix the downward spiral of traditional medicine that I'm going to show you next. Talking about going to see a doctor these days, you either feel healthy or you don't, but regardless, they give you a diagnosis with a code so they can bill insurance companies. They then give you a medication that covers up the symptoms and actually makes you more toxic. Underneath all this, the true nutritional and hormonal imbalances are getting worse, and we now have 1, 3, 6, or more medications to deal with. On top of the increasing number of toxicities that we're already exposed to in our world, in our food supply, the increasing stress levels, everything that's so unnatural about how we're living. But typically, you know, we may have our blood pressure come down for a little while, or our cholesterol come down. Our diabetes may be controlled for a little while. We may make it past that first heart attack. Our degenerative joints might feel a little better for a while, but typically the symptoms come back or they get worse, and eventually we're back in the doctor's office with a new diagnosis or a worse diagnosis and more medications. This is a spiral. We're getting worse. Our health is getting worse, and it just repeats and repeats until eventually we have a life-threatening crisis and we're in the hospital. And actually these days, sometimes waking up in the hospital is the first time you know that something's wrong. All too commonly, people are seeing their doctors over and over, told that they're doing what they need to do for their health care. They're taking their cholesterol drugs, their blood pressure drugs, their aspirin, their platelet drugs, their antidepressants. Yet for some reason they still wake up and all of a sudden they've had a heart attack or some other kind of life-threatening illness or cancer or worse. Or they develop diabetes and they're just given more drugs. So it's really a downward spiral of health. And now is the time to turn it around, because our youngest generation is now getting all of these conditions. And it doesn't make any sense that this should be happening. Our bodies weren't designed for this. To contradict this, new medicine promotes an upward spiral. We treat patients, we uncover the imbalances in health, again, whether it's someone who wants to be ultra healthy or someone who's already fairly sick and they're on a lot of medications and they know it's not working. We do our scientific analysis. It's very easy. It's a trip to the lab, or even a technician can come to your home and draw the blood work there. The blood work's typically covered by insurance. We do a few additional tests that are very important to uncover the hormonal imbalances. Saliva testing is much more accurate. We find the imbalances. We find illness before it becomes symptomatic. We see diabetes coming from decades away. We see heart disease and risks of cancer and immune dysfunction from years away. And we simply show our patients and our other doctors in black and white, here are the problems, here are the imbalances. We've got high levels here and low levels here, and we need to bring these things back into balance. We need to use natural products. We need to teach it. Food education. We need to get people results quickly so they can feel better and we can remove medications. And that's what happens. We balance the imbalances. We reduce the symptoms and the medication so you get healthier. You're less toxic. You have less things to deal with. You learn how to live a healthy, natural lifestyle, and it's fun and it's easy because you feel better and better. You lose weight. Your energy comes back. Your vitality comes back, and you're healthy. And you go and live a long, healthy life, which is what we're designed to do. We like to do preventative care. We like to maybe get another set of blood work every now and then. We like to make sure that we stay detoxified. So a short detox may be in order once or twice a year or once every other year. But basically people get healthier, and that's really what doctors should do. That's what healers should do. And somewhere along the lines of the last 50 years we got way off track with the surgery and drug-based system that we're in. Here are some examples we're going to show. These are very typical examples. Tim was a great patient from Kansas City, and most of the patients you're going to see have been treated virtually with us over the years because that's now very possible given technology. It's wonderful. Tim had severe multiple sclerosis for 15 years, and he was treating with a chiropractor who was an NMF physician and also a patient, and he decided it was time to get healthy. Tim did what's known really as our elite plan, where you do 6 weeks of detoxification, full blood work and saliva testing, follow-up blood work, and then an additional 3-week detox because he had quite a few things going on. So this took about 6 months total. This is about the longest you'll ever see someone need treatment. Now, some of the less important things, but probably more exciting for Tim and from the pictures, is that he lost about 50 pounds. He feels great. His energy came back. And from my standpoint, biochemically, all of his labs looked incredible. We replaced vitamin D levels, we replaced hormone levels, we brought down cholesterol levels and inflammatory levels. Most importantly, Tim reports, and his family reports, that his symptoms of multiple sclerosis that had been severe for over a decade and treated by all of the major institutions, Mayo Clinic and Cleveland Clinic, to the cost of $10,000 or $15,000 for Tim, were over 75% improved. And that's the kind of thing that we really see all the time. We expect these improvements no matter how severe the illness. We detoxify the patients, we balance their hormones, we teach them how to eat healthily very easily, and this is the result. So they're motivated to keep doing it, they feel good, and life is what it's supposed to be. Some of the biggest stepping points, success points for Tim were playing with his kids again, shopping for his family food and cooking. And the best day for him was when he could just bend over and tie his shoes again, which is something he couldn't have done for years. So this is just restoring balance to the body, letting the body heal. We're not going to promise that we're going to cure everything, and in fact we can't even use the word cure, but we're going to allow the body to heal as much as possible. And the earlier we catch the illness, the more likely it's going to heal completely. If you catch illness before it's even symptomatic by traditional standards, it is probably going to heal completely. Even in patients who are severe, insulin-dependent diabetics who need 75 units of insulin a day. When we treat these patients, they don't need any insulin a day while they're treating, and when they go back to life, they may need about 1/3 of the insulin or less that they needed before. So things do get dramatically improved. One of Dr. Jeff's patients, who is a Pilates instructor, also a typical story, very healthy woman who's what I call a naturalist, someone who really believes in natural and organic living, but still is unable to maintain that optimum health. And she saw what Dr. Jeff did and said, hey, whatever you did, I want to do it, that you look amazing, and I know you look for the truth in things. She underwent the same treatment, the master plan. It's 6 weeks of detoxification, initial and follow-up labs, and full saliva testing, 3 months of total care. And after decades, really, of not being able to maintain her optimal weight, she very quickly lost 35 pounds, had these remarkable cholesterol improvements of over 70 points here, mostly LDL. We optimized her thyroid gland. We lost the leptin resistance, which again, leptin is that hormone that controls hunger, that spirals out of control as we gain weight and makes us hungrier. We document that we correct that. When we talk about the detoxification process and we talk about resetting the hypothalamus, what we're actually doing is lowering the leptin level so that the leptin receptors on the hypothalamus increase. We've got a little musical phone tone going on. That's fun. So we see that drop dramatically, and that means people come out of this feeling better, being less hungry, being more appreciative of real food, and being able to push that bowl or push that plate of organic pizza away before they have too much. Your body knows when it's done. Leptin is working like it should. She had significant progesterone and vitamin D3 deficiencies, and we replaced those, and very quickly she had some remarkable improvements in some of her major symptoms, aside from the weight issues and just not feeling 100% healthy. She could not sleep well and was very, very achy at night. And a lot of that to us suggests hormonal deficiency and imbalance. And as soon as we balanced her chemistry and hormones, this went away completely. So that's a lot of fun to hear that. A lot of people who initially do 3 or 6 weeks of detoxification or treatment, they're doing so well, they want to keep going. It's a lot of fun to get healthy. I often say there's no time like the first time because you really experience such changes in your body. A lot of people come back and say, hey, I feel great. I want to go for it all the way. I look so good. I couldn't imagine stopping. And it's easy to keep going and just do a little bit more treatment and get down to perfect weight. Here's some great pictures. This is Karen. She's a wonderful local patient who actually we've known for quite a long time. She's another person I would consider a naturalist, very interested in natural health and doesn't look too unhealthy. Looks nice and thin and very alive. But she didn't feel 100%. She had some energy issues, foggy brain, sugar cravings. All these things right there suggest adrenal fatigue and deficiency, one of the main hormones we look at. And a patient like this only needs what we call the basic plan: 3 short weeks of detoxification, initial labs and saliva tests, and we know what to do. And within a few weeks, we transform to this, where her cravings and brain fog went away. She was jumping out of bed and felt great, and most importantly, she looks phenomenal. She did lose 10 pounds of just unwanted weight that we all tend to carry, even though we may look kind of thin. There's going to be problem areas we don't like. Well, that all goes away. Your body likes to be nice and lean and healthy, and her color looks incredible, and she just looks vibrant and radiant, which is what we always see. This is the look of healthy aging, naturally. Anti-aging, I always say, has kind of a synthetic, a fake look. I don't want to be mean to Sylvester Stallone, but that's what anti-aging looks like, and it's just not natural. And eventually it will cause problems. Here's some quick example of some of the labs we do. Blood work is very thorough. Again, it's just a trip to the lab, and usually any insurance covers most or all of it. For those uninsured, we have a lab that we can arrange for it to be done fairly inexpensively as well, really good cash discount. This was Karen's labs, and you wouldn't have thought that she would have high cholesterol. Now, this cholesterol doesn't bother me because it's balanced, but we still see a tremendous drop in the total cholesterol of 50 points, an improvement in her ratio. So this is really exciting to see. We check inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein and homocysteine that all get better. She had some sugar levels that were going up a little bit. That's just fasting sugar, but that's getting better. And this is page 2. There's typically 4 to 6 pages of labs. You give a little bit of blood, but that's good for you too. We increased her vitamin D level. Here's her average sugar level coming down nicely. She wasn't pre-diabetic, but she was getting over the range where we like to start talking about sugars, and she knew it. She was craving them, and here it's coming down. And we look at thyroid function improving and other things that we look at as well, mercury and estrogens. Here's another great patient to look at. Here's a young, healthy-looking patient. Right? I don't think anybody would mind looking like this in her 20s, but Ellie didn't feel great. She had some monthly swings that are common for women these days, which is just textbook for hormonal imbalance. We all have it. It's very obvious in women with monthly cycles and menopause, and that's what she was experiencing. Unfortunately, traditional doctors medicate for that these days. Women who simply have a little bit of premenstrual syndrome can get anything from birth control pills to antidepressants to anti-anxiety medications to sleeping pills to tranquilizers, you name it. It's ridiculous. What you need to do is very simply just balance the hormones. So again, a basic plan here. And Ellie's a very athletic person. She wanted to be at her fighting weight. And 3 weeks later, this is what you get. A quick detoxification, good thorough lab testing, and just balancing the biochemistry that's imbalanced. Very, very simple. Her monthly cycles are now perfect. She's off any medication she was taking, and she feels great. Really, really fun to see people feel this good. And here's one of our stars. This is Mr. Bob Torsey, our VP of Marketing and New Business, and who's going to talk a little bit about his story with us. We're all part of the New Medicine Foundation. All of the team members, of course, are patients. I myself, I live by this. It's my wife and I discovered this not just by delivering care to patients, but ourselves, of course. Bob did the same thing. He knew he was onto something when we met Bob and Patty, and he was looking a little bit unhealthy and like he was enjoying the dinner in Paris a little too much. And he was on his way to getting healthy. He turned over a new leaf last year and wanted to get healthy, but he knew we had some answers to get him there quickly and healthily, and he very quickly, within 1 month, he lost a little bit of weight from here, but this is what a healthy young stud looks like. And I'm going to let Bob talk a little bit about his journey with us, and then I'll be back on to talk a little bit more about hormones and other science aspects. I'm going to pass it back over to Bob.
Thank you, Doctor. So, you know, that's actually a little bit embarrassing, but I'm quite proud of it. Patty and I were there in Paris. That's when we decided that something should be done about my health. And as the doctor mentioned, I started a little regimen. I was, quite frankly, doing the Atkins diet, which I've done 3 times before, so I've lost, you know, about 200 pounds. But you know the way those things are, you gain them all back. So we met the doctors early on, and in March I made a commitment that I was going to go through this program. I started it on April 6th. A picture of me in front of the bus with Patty Girl, and a picture of me in Paris. I was a robust 225 pounds, maybe more than that at that point. But I think what's really remarkable is that at that weight, I was on blood pressure medicine. I was on Zocor for my cholesterol. I was popping Prilosec at the end of each meal because things that I enjoyed made my belly burn like I had hot coals in it. My physicians before Dr. Pearson encouraged me to take aspirins, and if I had pain, I swallowed other over-the-counter potions that were just contributing to my toxicity, and everything was out of balance. Anyhow, on the 3rd day, this is a very, very important story to tell, and it's almost over. On the 3rd day of my treatment, I consulted with Dr. Pearson. I said, what about all these meds? And he said, get off of them. He said, how do you feel about the aspirin? You can take it. I said, hey, I don't want to do any of this. So I started the basic program on April 6th, and on April 9th, I threw out every med that I had in my medicine cabinet. Now I've got herbs in there, but here's the point. I went through the program. I achieved my goals, in total 50 pounds. I feel good. People say I look good. I don't know. I thought I looked good when I was heavy, but there it is. People are reacting to what I have to say. Mental clarity, cognitive function, things are just so incredible. And I was 62 this year. I feel like I'm 42, and I can probably live another 60 years. The doc said I can if I continue to do what I do. So that's my story. You see the pictures, you see the reports that come from the labs. This is the real guy. You saw my picture, you saw the end result. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud that Patty encouraged me to do something with my health, and I am proud and so grateful that I met Dr. Edward and Dr. Julie Pearson. So having said all that, I'm going to give it back to the doctor. We have got a tremendous mission, and the mission that we're faced with is that we get this word out to everybody. And the doctor will give you some statistics on how bad things are and how big our market is and what a tremendous opportunity we have to share this with people. I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. I found some purpose. And those of you who are on the phone have found that purpose as well. And I look forward to working with everybody here. Bring your prospective patients to our calls each week. The doctor will share the information with them. And as I close, because we'll turn it over to the doc, that we have recorded this, and in the next couple of days you'll either receive an email or it'll pop up on your on the website. We entertain questions, but as you know, time flies. I want to get it back to the doctor. If you have any questions, please get with the person who invited you on the call. And that person is certainly qualified to answer the questions. If they're really medical and personal, we'll get the answer back to you. So that's it for me. I'm just a happy guy. And we want to make a lot of other people happy too. And doctor, thank you for your science. Thank you for your guidance, and I'll turn it back to you.
Thanks, Bob. We all like looking at that healthy picture for sure. The story is wonderful. I really appreciate everyone's trust that treats with us, and we've got such a team coming together, including Bob and Patty and Donna and Dave and Jerry and everyone that's coming in to help get this to people. The world is very sick. We need to get healthy. I'm going to jump over really quickly to, we've got a few other slides I want to show. Let me see if I can do this. I want to show a few more before and afters that we have had. Here's again Karen. This is great to see, just a before and after that's side by side. You see just the subtle, not subtle, but pretty marked actually improvements, especially in her face. Lots of swelling gone that we usually see. We lose lots of water weight and swelling weight that we shouldn't carry. We get very well hydrated naturally. Here's Tim, side by side. And this is Lisa. Lisa's another great patient from the Midwest. And Lisa had really significant health problems. And I won't get too far into it so we can talk a bit more about hormones and the DNA opportunity. But hysterectomy at age 30, lots of GI problems, you know, just not really sure how to get healthy. And she works, again, at a chiropractor's office, very health conscious. And this is Lisa within 6 months. It doesn't even look like her. And again, just a truly different person. It was as simple as following the 3 stages of what new medicine does, detoxifying her body, getting hormonally balanced, and learning how to eat real foods and getting the nutrients back that we're missing. So these are exciting slides for us to show. To touch briefly on hormones, very exciting part of treatment is hormonal balance. Very poorly understood. You know, the traditional world has told us for decades that women need estrogen and men don't really need anything. And nothing could be further from the truth. Estrogen toxicity is the problem. Estrogens are in everything we eat, exuding from plastics, coming out of the crops, fertilizers, and pesticides, and we're all estrogen dominant. So we're all experiencing the effects of way too much estrogen, with more weight gain than we should. Women have problems with their uterus and fibroids and heavy bleeding and cramping in menopause. It's all from too much estrogen. Same thing in men. We're getting overdeveloped with estrogenic kind of body types. Our kids are experiencing puberty at age 6 and 8 now. Doesn't make sense. It's too much estrogen. And doctors are treating women with more estrogen, with birth control pills and estrogens in menopause. Really the problem is getting the estrogen out, lowering it, detoxifying it, teaching where it's coming from. The counteracting hormones are these down here, testosterone in men and progesterone in women. And they're low in everybody, and everybody needs to have them replaced until proven otherwise. Saliva testing is how we find this, and we replace them with bioidentical, natural compounds, exactly what our body wants, nothing synthetic, nothing that's a medicine or a toxin. They are compounded for us. We
No,
create them,
listening.
uniquely for everyone and blend them appropriately, often with a little DHEA to support adrenal glands, and things like that. So a lot of misconception and mistreatment about these hormones and others. We correct thyroid problems naturally. A lot of times we see thyroids improve dramatically just with detoxification and weight loss. We talk a lot about adrenal glands and inflammatory and energy problems, sugar cravings, salt cravings. Cortisol is low in most people, not high. Insulin, way too high, causing diabetes in everybody, and we drop it dramatically with treatment. Growth hormone is another hormone we look at. Very heavily used in anti-aging. Needed in some people, but not in everyone. So we have to respect this, and it also can be restored naturally in most people. As we drop insulin levels, we often see growth hormone levels come back. So we look at all of these hormones, and it really makes a nice, pretty cascade, a nice, pretty pyramid. It's called the HIP tag. It's the hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, adrenal, gonads. There's also the pancreas, and we include the skin now, vitamin D3, which is actually a hormone. We balance all of these. It feels good, and we all need it. And it's why we don't feel well mentally, we don't feel well physically, and why we are actually a big part of why we're getting ill. A big part of chronic illness is these hormones. So it's important to get them balanced. It feels great to get them balanced. And unfortunately, most doctors, even doctors doing natural hormones, are not balancing them correctly. They're giving women estrogen, even natural estrogen. They're giving way too much. And when we do our testing on women, it's usually kind of off the charts in the other direction. So we need to correct that. I'm talking a little bit about the overall vision and mission of New Medicine, and I'll touch briefly on the Detoxification Network of America. Life is about health and happiness and family and freedom, living at one with nature. We've gotten so far from that. Everything that is happening in our world now seems to be corrupt in some way, from the economy to the political scene, to the healthcare scene, to the food industry, to the medical industry. And New Medicine is all about just getting back, taking a step back from everything, getting cleared out and getting balanced, feeling good, getting off all the medications, kind of slowing down a bit, feeling good and sleeping well and getting up with energy and starting to enjoy your body and your life again, getting outside with nature, getting some sun exposure, some smart sun exposure, eating real foods, shopping for real foods and getting back around the dinner table with your family and your friends. Stop eating out so much and eating all that junk. You know, even when you go to a high-end steakhouse, you're eating a horrible steak. You're eating an unhappy cow. Go watch Food Incorporated and see how horrible our food industry is. So it's about getting back to really what life is all about, living and being well together. There are so many people that need this. There are over 300 million people in this country alone, 7 billion now in the world, and I think about 1 billion people in the world live in a modern world where we're relying on these synthetic solutions. I think truly 1 billion of us are very, very unhealthy with modern illnesses and degenerative illnesses. So there's just so many people that need to be healthy. Let's think about potentially 100 million or 200 million in this country alone. We're all on drugs. You know, there's 1 billion people on cholesterol drugs and 1 billion people on high blood pressure drugs. It doesn't make any sense that we were designed to need these things. So we need to get this out there to people. We need to live at peace and live along with nature. We're all concerned with our ecology now, our global climate. It's trendy. It's in to care about our world and care about ourselves. It all works together. We can't have one without the other. We have to appreciate our own health to appreciate the world health. So it's kind of in to be green and healthy and get off the meds. And we know more and more people are looking for natural healthcare solutions. So this is the way there. It saves money. It saves a tremendous amount of money. You stop doing a lot of expensive things, not just to mention unnecessary doctor's visits and treatments and foods and medications and habits. You eat less. You eat more healthily. It's incredible how much money it saves. So it goes hand in hand. But in order to get this out to people, we've got to have a team effort. We can't simply do this from one clinic or even 10 clinics. We need a team of people to deliver health to other people, and that's the idea that was brought to us by our patients over the years, truly 3 or 4 years ago, to create the Detoxification Network of America. Once people have treated with New Medicine Foundation, they emerge from the other end of treatment so educated and so healthy that they're literally just dying to go share it with other people. You almost cannot help but do that because you look so much different. And armed with your own website where you'll be able to show your own results and tell your story, like these before and after photos and the incredible lab results, we hope to be able to send a previous patient out equipped to help as many people as they can and support and counsel them and provide the education that's such a huge part of this. That provides a huge service to the foundation. For that, there is a payment to be issued that can become a career where you are actually a health style counselor. You are referring people to the New Medicine Foundation for treatment, but you are responsible for teaching them about food and about an organic health style and helping them through the detoxification process that is so effective that the New Medicine Foundation has really perfected, teaching them why natural and organic is so much better, and helping hold their hand and inviting them back around into a network of people that share the vision of being healthy and happy. It's a really exciting career that we've all come together to put together that's got great opportunity, not only to help people and make a difference and just help share health and prosperity, but it's a great financial opportunity as well. When you help people save a lot of money on their health care and there's a lot of money left over, then there's plenty of money to go around to provide payment for supporting these people. And with all of the economic problems and health problems these days, I can't think of any other way to really have a great purpose in life than to heal people and be prosperous along the way, which is what the DNA opportunity is all about. We want to invite as many people as we can to the webinars. We're going to be recording these. We're also recording New Medicine Foundation much more scientific webinars. We have hundreds of slides describing everything from depression to menopausal problems to heart disease to arthritis to autoimmune diseases, lupus, multiple sclerosis, childhood diseases, diabetes, asthma, food intolerances, GI problems. We describe the true science behind how all of these things happen and how we correct them with new medicine. So we want to invite as many people as we can to learn about how easy it is to get healthy. We want to invite other physicians and other health practitioners to learn the science behind how we do this. We love to dig into the science and the biochemistry of all of this. So we're going to have hours and hours of educational material that we want to share. We want to stop the epidemics of cancer, the epidemics of heart disease. We want people to live healthily and happily well into their years. And again, we are designed to live to 100 or 120 years. We're not designed to get sick in our 20s or 40s. Our children were not designed to get obesity and high blood pressure and have a attention deficit mental problem where they don't feel good. So we want to get this out there to as many people as we can. And we really thank everybody for listening tonight and want to share it with as many people as we can. We'll be doing this, I think, for the most part on a weekly basis, but the webinars will always be recorded. I want to thank Donna for inviting a lot of great people tonight and everybody else on the call that I see. If there are any questions, please do contact the person that brought you to this. If it's a medical question, please get it to us. We'll be happy to explain it in detail and help everyone we can get to a state of health and happiness. I'm not sure if Bob or Patty have anything else to add tonight. I will hand it back over to them, and thank you everyone again for listening.
Thank you, Doctor. We always appreciate your visit and your information. This will conclude our call for tonight. It is timely, 7:46. Next week, you'll also receive an invitation to attend our webinar. This is the wave of the future, just like the face of new medicine. It's virtual. You don't have to see the doctor. You can speak with them online. Bring your patients, bring your prospects, and encourage others to help join us on the mission to spread the word about how healthy we can all become. So thanks, everybody. We appreciate your presence, and we will speak with you and visit with you soon. Bye-bye.